Hi guys, it's Paula and I hope you are doing well. Today is the first day of winter. It has come. I'm not happy about it, but it is the first day of winter. I kind of feel like I have a floating head thing going on here. So if you see it too, let me know down below because I feel like this outfit is giving me a floating head vibe, which is kind of freaking me out. But anyways, happy winter for those of you that love this season. I'm happy for you. I'm not happy for me, but I'm happy for you. This is going to be my fourth installment of my seasonal Shop My Stash. I managed to do this for every season of the year. I'm very proud of myself for sticking with this. Unfortunately, I am not collaborating with anybody for this round. That's my fault. I dropped the ball. I had every intention on reaching out to some other YouTubers the first week of December, and that very same week, a lot of the people I was thinking about reaching out to filmed a video about like their top winter palettes, or a winter themed Shop My Stash, or winter themed video, and it just kind of burst my bubble a little bit. And I tried to regroup and find some other YouTubers that hadn't done a winter themed topic video yet, but then life got busy and I dropped the ball. So today it's just me. I'm not collaborating with anybody. Before we get into it, I have two questions. One is for all of you. Are you interested in me continuing this for next year? I do find this to be helpful to some extent. Sometimes the products that I choose for my Shop My Stash do largely go untouched. I feel like my fall Shop My Stash really didn't get the love that it deserved. But when I do have an opportunity to roll in some products into different projects, I like to go to that Shop My Stash box first and pull from there. So let me know if you're interested in seeing this continue for next year. I'm sure I could keep this up for several more years and create quite a variety, except for maybe bronzers. There will be overlap with bronzers, but other products I have enough of to do a few more years of Shop My Stashes with plenty of variety. My other question is for those of you who are content creators: are any of you trying to punch me through the screen and say, Paula, I would have collaborated with you if you would have just reached out to me? Let me know, because if I do continue this for next year, I will reach out to you for the next Shop My Stash. So let me know. So with all that being said, let's get into my winter Shop My Stash and my top 5 palette picks for winter. Overall, I think you will quickly see there is a theme here. When winter rolls around, I am going for a certain particular vibe, and that's kind of what I'm looking forward to. The dirty, grungy colors of fall are done, and I'm into soft pastel, cool toned taupey shades. That's kind of where pinks and taupes, I think, could pretty much be the summary of my Shop My Stash for winter. And that's really what I'm ready to start getting into now that winter has started, despite the fact that I'm wearing this very, very dark vampy lip that I need to get 5 uses in by the next update for that project. So let's start with the face products. For my face, I pulled out a powder. This is the IT Cosmetics Celebration Foundation Illumination in Medium. This is one of those products that I purchased 100% because of Emily Noel, and I've used it a few times, but not that much. But the other thing I'm looking for when winter rolls around is glow. In the summer, my body can create a natural glow. I used to be a very oily skinned person. In my 20s, I was one of those kids that was just greasy, oily, wet all the time. But now, as I'm getting older, I get a little bit drier in the winter. I need to moisturize and stay hydrated, and I need to add glow to my makeup routine. In the summer, I can still create my own natural glow, but in the fall, it needs a little help. So anything with the word illumination catches my attention, and this is an illumination foundation. So I pulled this. It doesn't look glowy. There's no visible like glitter or shine, but it is a little bit more glowy than a typical powder. So I pulled this, and along those same lines, I pulled in my 2 glowiest setting sprays. First of all, I have my Milani Make It Dewy. I used this quite a bit last year in the winter time, and then I stopped once spring rolled around again. I think, I can't see through this bottle, but I think it's less than halfway full at this point. But I would love to get this out this winter and finish it off. I did also pull my Milk Makeup Grip Set and Refresh Spray. I bought this in the summer, not really knowing much about it, but it was way too glowy for summer. Way, way, way too glowy. This has an obvious layer of oil at the top, and then the rest is some other solution. I'm sure I could find it on an ingredients list, but it's probably like glycerin, and so yeah, it's probably a lot of glycerin and stuff like that. So anyways, with this clearly having oil in it that you have to shake up to use, this left my face really glowy in the summer, but now that it's winter and it's getting very dry again, I'm looking forward to trying it out and seeing if I like it much more, because it was a no-go for summer, but you know, my skin's changed a lot in the last 6 months. For bronzer, I chose two, and both of them are pretty light bronzers. Like the rest of the Northern Hemisphere, I am at my fairest at this time of year, and I don't need a really deep pigmented bronzer. I need something light that will not make me look dirty. And so my first product is this e.l.f. Golden bronzer. It's one of these. This is very light. I think this might be the lightest bronzer I own. So now's the time to pull this out and use it, because this would do nothing for me in the summer, but now it would be great. It's got a really nice mirror. That's a really nice mirror for a little cheap compact. And the other bronzer I pulled is slightly darker, but I do think I can pull it off at this time of year, and that is my Bare Minerals sample of the Skinny Dip. I actually have this in a couple of Bare Minerals palettes, so it would be great to get this bronzer out of my stash. I don't know if that's gonna happen because I've been working on my butter bronzer for like 2 years, so I'm committed to finishing that butter bronzer, but I would love to get a chance to use this a few times, even if it's just in my dust collectors get ready with me. But I think that would be a good color for me this time of year. I pulled 3 blushes from my Shop My Stash. I love blush very much. It's one of my favorite things. The first blush I knew I wanted to pull for winter was another Emily Noel recommendation, and that is the Tarte Amazonian Clay in Flush. If you've watched her, you know she raves about this cool toned pink shade for winter time. She really gives it the credit for giving you that like just in from the cold flush, natural flush that you get in the winter time when it's very cold outside. And so every time winter rolls around, I am reminded that I have this blush and that I should be using it. My skin tone does tend to cause even cool tone blushes to pull kind of warm on me, but yeah, I would like to get some use out of this winter. Along the same lines is a slightly warmer blush. This is my Too Faced Love Flush in Justify My Love. This one is untouched and brand new. I had 3 of these, and I believe I gave one of them away, one of the sample sizes. I have another one of these in a deluxe size in my entire palette of these Too Faced blushes, and then I have this full size here. So I've never used this one even once. It's still got the adorable little bunny rabbits on it. I am a sucker for makeup that's been embossed. It does make it hard to use. That's silly, I know, but I think it's the cutest. And then my final choice for blush is a very glowy blush. I don't know how this will look on me, but it's a Bare Minerals loose blush in the shade Giddy Pink. This is obviously like a deluxe sample size. I'm pretty sure it came in a set, and I'm pretty sure I've never used it. Oh, it has been opened. Either that or maybe it was a hand-me-down from my friend Jamie. That's a very bright, cool toned pink. So as you're probably already seeing, there's not a lot of variety in what I'm looking for this time of year. I know what I'm looking for, and it's cool toned pinks, taupey shades, and like blushes and taupes. That's what I'm looking for. There's no like variety. That's just all I want for the next 3 months of my life. All right, let's move on to my highlighter picks for winter. The first one is the oldest highlighter I own. It is the first highlighter I ever bought. Can you guess what it is? It's the Mary Luminizer from the Balm. Sadly, it is seriously underused. I don't know if you could tell, but it's basically brand new. I mean, maybe I've used it once or twice. I've been thinking about this a lot lately and trying to figure out why I haven't used this. I have no explanation, but I think this is a beautiful, like goldeny white shade, but very light, and I feel like winter's the time where I could pull this off the best. When I get a little bit of a tan, I like to go with something that isn't quite as frosty, but now in winter, it's go time for the frosty highlighters, at least in my opinion. Along the same lines, the next highlighter I chose is my Berlin Girl Glow from Becca. This has been loved. It's got a little bit of a dip in it. I should probably be giving swatches, shouldn't I? I always forget to do swatches. And my third choice is my Becca Prismatic Amethyst. I love a pinky purpley highlighter that doesn't stand out too much for its color. Like this is a subtle pinky purple. Can't even see it. It is a pinky purple, but it's more subtle than like a purple highlighter. I feel like this might be the most wearable, colorful highlighter that I own. And again, it's really light, and I feel like winter is the time to wear it and enjoy it. Let me get you swatches. Okay, here are my swatches. This is Mary Luminizer. This is Berlin Glow. It is so subtle, it almost doesn't show up, but it is there. That's what I like about it. And this is the Prismatic Amethyst. And here are the three blushes. This is Tipsy. This is the Too Faced blush, and this is the Bare Minerals blush. That's the one that has a lot more shimmer and glow to it. But yeah, there's swatches of all of those gorgeous products. I am amazed by how little the Berlin Glow shows up on my hand. I have to catch it in a certain light for you to even see it. It has the darkest undertone, but when you see it on my hand, it doesn't even look like it's there. It's amazing. All right, let's skip on over to lip products. I didn't even shop my liquid lipsticks for this video. By the time winter rolls around, I am done with liquid lipsticks emotionally, mentally, physically. My lips are chapped, they're dry, and I only want products that feel good and comfortable and that I could reapply a million times a day, because that's what my lips need after December 21st. So I went with a handful of lip products, all of which were either lip crayons or lip glosses. I skipped my liquid lipsticks. I skipped my bullet lipsticks. There's probably some wonderful bullet lipsticks that I could have chosen, but I didn't even go there. So this is my winter Shop My Stash. I think one or two of these were also in my spring Shop My Stash, but I think you could tell there is I think you can see what I'm going for just by looking at the packaging. I'm going for pink, which is also what I like to wear in the spring, but I'm really ready to start even in the winter time. So let's start with the lip crayons. I did feel like I had to include one bold shade and not just all pink, but the bold shade I included is this Tresemme Stick in Belize Bordeaux. A lot of you guys might remember that I had received a sample, deluxe sample of this, and I panned it 2 years ago, I think. No, I think it was 2 years ago. And by the time I finished this, I fell in love with this shade. And then my friend Callie from Callie Fab reached out to me and said, hey, I'd like to send you one. So she sent me this. Well, she said, I want to send you some stuff, and this was included in it. So this is a full size of Belize Bordeaux. It is the most beautiful berry shade. I really like it. I need a hand. I'll have to do it with the other hand. There is a little bitty swatch of it. It's just a raspberry pinky berry shade, and I've really missed it since finishing that first one, and I would love to use this one up at some point, and I'd love to use all my makeup up, but that one's never left my mind since I panned that deluxe sample size. The other crayons are all pink. The one that I thought might have been in my spring Shop My Stash earlier this year is this one. This is the Tarte Adored Lip Surgeons. I just love this shade. It looks like absolutely nothing in the stick, and it looks like nothing on the swatch, but it just creates this absolute beautiful glow It looks great on its own. It looks great on top of a lip liner. I love it. I have my NYX Simply Pink lip cream. What I'm wearing right now is the Simply Vamp lip cream from NYX, and this is the pink one. I got 3 of them in a set, I think at TJ Maxx a while ago, but that's it, just kind of a medium cool pink. And finally, I have this one, which I think is called Honey. Yes, this is Honey from the Revlon Kissable Balm Stain line. I've used it quite a bit. It's a little bit sheer, more sheer and shiny than the NYX one. The NYX one's more matte and just like a cream consistency. This one's like almost a gloss. So they are similar but different. And then I have the lip glosses I chose. Again, for the most part, all pink. The first one I grabbed was NYX Butter Gloss in Eclair. I've been panning Creme Brulee for years. Creme Brulee is definitely a more warm tone pink. This is a more cool tone pink, and this is exactly what I'm going for. This is the It Cosmetics, I think this is called the It Cosmetics Lip Vitality in the shade Je ne sais quoi. I was checking out the Ulta and Sephora websites the other day, and neither one of them carry this anymore, which is really sad. This is a great product. If you have it still, pull it out and enjoy it. Mine is about halfway gone, but it looks like a milky pink in the tube, but it definitely is one of those color changers. And the first time I apply it, it doesn't do a whole lot, but if I reapply throughout the day, by the end of the day, my lips are hot pink. They're pretty bright, so it does have a staining effect. I don't mind it, but I do have to be careful when I'm applying it. When you initially apply it, you think, oh, I could be, I don't need a mirror to apply this, but you do, because it does get darker. And if you're not careful, you can get some pretty cool clown vibes going on that you may or may not be interested in. So make sure you apply it carefully, even though it looks very innocent in this tube. It's not that innocent, but it's very nourishing. It makes my lips feel great. It doesn't dry them out. It's exactly what I want in the winter. The warmest of all of my lip glosses that I pulled is this one. It's a MAC lip gloss in the shade Flash of Flesh. It's kind of got a lot of peachiness to it. I suppose it's possible I might not want a cool tone pink shade every single day, so I grabbed one warmer shade. But back to cool tone pinks, this is a MAC cream sheen glass in the shade Pagoda. And finally, I have my Lorac lip luster cream in the shade Princess. Pinky pinky, that's just kind of what I want for winter. Okay, let's move on to eyeshadow. Before we get into my top 5 palette choices, I did pull a couple of singles. Let's go over those first. First of all, I have this loose pigment from MAC in the shade Kitschmas. No, right? Yes, this is the shade Kitschmas. Aside from the fact that Kitschmas reminds me of Christmas, this is a gorgeous pinky, lavendery, icy shade that looks amazing on the eyelid and on the inner corner, especially with a rosy toned or purpley eye look. And I just love it for this time of year. I love it for any time of year, but especially this time of year. There is a swatch of it. I think you can see exactly how blinding it is. And maybe you could see that it's like a mix between pink and purple. It reminds me a lot of Makeup Geek's Whimsical, I think is what it's called. That was an eyeshadow that was in my Pan That palette a few years ago, and they're very similar. Love them both. If you have either one, you're good, but this is a great shade to wear in the winter. At least I think it is. My next single is one that I'm pretty sure I've never used. It was from the Star Trek collection that came out with MAC, and this is called The Naked Time, and it's a kind of warm taupe shade. Oh, silvery, taupey, warm shade. And I'm so glad I found this while I was shopping my stash. As you guys know, I'm really far behind on watching videos, and over the last month or so, I was watching some videos of beauty news and some other videos talking about new releases from a couple years ago, and they were talking about a 2-shade release that came out from KVD Beauty. And one of them looked exactly like this, and the other one was a pink that actually looked a lot like this. And all of a sudden I was like, oh my gosh, I want that. I need that. That is the most awesome taupey shade. That is such a me color. I love that color. And I searched for a while looking to see if I could find that set for sale anywhere. I went to Sephora, I went to Ulta, I went to the websites. I didn't physically go. I went to the Kat Von D website, I went to eBay and Amazon, and I couldn't find them anywhere. And I was kind of bummed, but I'm pretty sure I have it. Of course, I have everything. There's nothing I need to buy. I have it all. But, you know, I'm glad I discovered this because I think this is really, really, really similar to what I was seeing in that Kat Von D duo. If you picked up that duo or one of those duos or this shade from that duo, let me know if you think this is a dupe, because I think this is exactly what that reminded me of. There is a swatch of it right there. Like I said, it's a little bit warmer toned compared to a lot of the cooler tones that I've been going for, but very glittery, very pretty. It's a pressed pigment. I like it. And finally, we're back to cool tone taupes. I have this old L'Oreal single in Pain. I don't know why they do that. Pain au chocolat. I don't know if I'm saying it right at all, but it is just a taupey, silvery, almost purpley shade. I was in love with this shade for a long time, and I was also in love with a MAC shade called, you guys already know what this is. It's the, what's the MAC shade? You guys are all yelling it to me through the screen, I can tell. Something taupe. This is actually lighter than that taupey MAC shade. I did a whole comparison of the two on a Instagram post a million years ago. But I like them both, but this one is much lighter. There it is. Right there. Just a pretty silvery, purpley, gray, taupey shade. So those are my picks for singles for winter. All right, before we jump into my top 5 palettes for winter, I wanted to shout out an honorable mention. For some reason, I cannot put this back. I have to talk about it. I think this palette could be a year-round palette, but still, it's just cool toned enough that I feel like it is a good winter palette, but it didn't make it into my top 5. That is this guy right here. This is my Naked 2 palette. There is something about these 3-4 shades right here that scream winter to me, and yeah, I mean, I think you could see why. Silvery, taupey, metallics. That's what I'm going for, but that I think is a really good runner-up, but it is not part of my top 5. All right, let's get into my top 5. There is no particular order. I could no sooner rank my children than these eyeshadow palettes. They're all my babies. But first of all, I have my Too Faced White Peach palette. I think this is a fabulous winter palette. This color story is winter to me. And maybe a little bit of spring. Okay, this next palette is probably the warmest out of all of the palettes I picked, and it's for one shade in particular. That is this I Think I Love You palette from ColourPop. Guess what it is? Yep, the yellowy golden gold. It is beautiful, and this shade reminds me of winter so much. It is beautiful. It reminds me of Christmas. It reminds me of December. I bought this entire palette for this one shade, and I picked this entire palette for this one shade for my winter shop my stash, but also a lot of the other shades I've pulled are very cool toned, and I thought, you know, maybe a girl would want a warm tone look in the winter at some point in those 3 months. So I figured I'd pull one warm tone palette. This palette is seriously underutilized. I have 2 ColourPop palettes in the same packaging. That drives me crazy. I don't know why ColourPop did that. Other than for financial, the most obvious answer is they did it to save money. So that's the likeliest explanation for why they reuse this packaging. But I have 2 ColourPop palettes with this packaging, which I do not like. But I like that goldeny, yellowy, beautiful shade. I have another ColourPop palette in my top 5, and it is Fame. This is winter to me. This palette is winter. And it has a lot of those taupey, silvery shades that I was seriously looking on the KVD Beauty website for 2 weeks ago. They're all in here. There's like 3 or 4. Look at that. 4 different silvery taupey shades in this palette alone. This one's a little bit more purpley, but honestly, and this one's a little bit more silvery, but these 2 look almost identical. This one and this one. Look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then this one clearly looks a little bit deeper, but yeah. I also love these kind of matte, dusty, plummy, pinky brownie shades. So that is a winter palette to me, 100%. And my last 2 picks for my fall palettes are also from Too Faced. So 3 Too Faced palettes made it in my top 5, and 2 ColourPop palettes made it into my top 5. Go figure. The first one is my little Too Faced white chocolate chip palette. Again, one of the requirements, a taupey silver. I just need taupey silvers in my life during the winter. It also has this beautiful silvery lilac shade that I think is perfect for winter. Yep, this is a perfect winter palette to me. And my final pick for the top 5 winter palettes I would like to use for 2021 is my Too Faced I Want Candy palette in collaboration with Miss Candy Johnson. Here it is on the inside. This is a more diverse palette. This is the most diverse palette out of all of them. It has warm, it has cool, it has lights, it has darks. This is definitely the most diverse palette I chose, but look at that. A purpley, silvery taupey shade. It met my requirement for a winter palette. It does also smell like sugar cookie, which will make the winter go by a little bit faster. Yeah, I really like this palette, and it is very underutilized within my collection. I wish I could use it a little bit more. That is it, you guys. That is my winter Shop My Stash for 2021. Don't forget to let me know if you want to see this continue in 2022, or if you're kind of like, I'm done, I'm good. I had a lot of fun doing this year. It was a really enjoyable experience to take a look at my makeup collection from the perspective of the season rather than any other factors that I take into account when I'm choosing my makeup. A lot of times when I'm choosing my makeup for the day, I'm just trying to get it to coordinate with my outfit, and I'm not really thinking about much else other than like, does it go or does it clash? So this was a really fun experiment to kind of look at my makeup from a different perspective as far as what season these products fit into. Obviously, there are no rules in makeup. You could wear your makeup in any season, on any day of the year, and I've been known to do that as well. So I'm not saying that these are my hard and fast rules, but it was really fun to kind of explore my makeup from the perspective of the season and the time of year. I think that's all I have to say. Thank you guys so very much for watching. I do appreciate it, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.
See ya. And then I think that's all. That's all. Okay, goodbye, guys.